David Shermer knows more about making money on the stock market than anyone else in Australia. He's considered by his peers to be the #1 cycle analyst in the country. His opinion is highly sought by private traders, commodity hedgers, bankers and universities for his predictions on the Australian dollar, commodities and global stock markets. David's stock market predictions achieve over 85% accuracy. His own personal blue chip portfolio attained a growth of 90% in a 12-month period. This is a far cry from the David Shermer of 10 years ago. Broke following a failed business venture, David turned his life around after studying the stock market. With only $2,000, he started to build his wealth by trading on the stock market. David has shared his trading secrets with over 4,000 Australians. He teaches simple but extremely powerful strategies on how to trade successfully and become financially free. Now you too can learn David Shermer's proven and tested techniques in trading and investing in safe and secure blue chip stocks.
You could read it, mark it, and anyone that asked the question, that was also important to me. A person that asked a question, it would be the dumbest question ever, as far as I was concerned, and he would answer it.
David's ability to relate information was excellent. And the reason for that is he didn't just give the information, he would give the background behind it.
I've been to a lot of option seminars, not seminars so much as just 3-hour talks where pretty high profile marketers are up there and they're talking and they've made $1 squillion and this is how to do it and you better sign up now and everything like that. Well, he wasn't like that.
David gave his history of trading, and which anyone who has traded could relate to.
Hello, I'm David Shermer. You know, the question I get asked most frequently is, if you have so much money and you know how to trade the market with great success, then how come you spend your life teaching people how to trade? My answer is, I've spent a long time working in the financial industry and I found there are a lot of dubious people out there giving us advice and financial information as to how we should handle our money. I should know. I've been on the receiving end of such misinformation. Secondly, I have a passion for teaching children about money management. It's something we're never taught in school, yet it's the single most important thing we need in building the lifestyle we want. Sure, I can retire and trade full time, sitting in front of my computer all day, but that's not my idea of fun. You see, I'm living the lifestyle I want right now. I teach people how to trade the stock market successfully, and I have big plans in developing a wealth creation program for children. That's my passion. What's yours?
I've got really big plans for the family. I want us to be able to take 3 or 4 holidays a year. I want to live in a great big house with 4 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. I want to be able to go shopping and buy the $500 shoes. I don't want to buy the lousy $50 shoes.
And I can't do that when I'm in retirement, but what I can do is I can trade the stock market. And that's part of my whole life goal, is to travel, and the stock market will allow me to do that.
I have the confidence, not only that I know how to trade successfully, but it's also given me the confidence to believe in the decisions that I'm making, that they're the right ones. I don't have to trust anybody else with that anymore. So, yeah, I've got big dreams.
I've taught over 3,000 people how to trade the stock market successfully. And every one of those people who applied my rules for how to apply the trend and where to buy and where to sell, every one of them had sold their stocks before this major decline. Often people ask me how I got started in the stock market. You see, my background's farming. I've spent over half my life on the land, and I really got in the stock market by accident. I married some shares. My wife had some shares in a little company called Wilkinson, Day and Grimes, and we had no idea about the stock market. She had inherited them from her grandfather, and so we actually sold those shares in 1987. The company was later taken over by Quintex, and as I said, we had no idea, and because we needed the money, we sold those shares. But in fact, we sold the shares at almost the highest price they ever got to. So that gave me interest in the stock market. I knew that we could make some money from that. So I started to do what most people do. I just called up a broker and asked for advice. Well, the next share transaction wasn't near as successful. We bought a stock called North Broken Hill Limited. And we bought the stock for $3.73 and later sold it for $3.75, almost 2 years later. And so I found out that that's not what you do in the stock market. And so my first lesson was, don't listen to a stockbroker. In the early 90s, someone told me about futures, that you can make a lot of money trading the futures market. That's things like commodities, agricultural commodities, currencies, metals and so on. So I decided to trade that market. What they didn't tell me is you could lose a lot as well. I wiped my entire account out 3 times in the first 2 years. You know, every time I lost my money though, I went back to the drawing board to see what I was doing right and kept doing it, and what I was doing wrong and stopped doing it. And over the time, I developed the skills that I could trade successfully. In fact, so much so, I was able to make it a full-time living. Then, after a while, people heard of my success and started to ask me to share with them what I was doing. So that's really how it all started. About the time I first started to look at the futures market, I actually had a manufacturing business. In fact, we had invented a product for handling bales of hay, and we'd built that manufacturing business up over a short period of time. But some things went wrong, and that was probably one of the best things that happened, because I started to get serious about looking at money and how money works. And that was really the thing, the catalyst that made me look more serious at the stock market and start to trade it successfully.
It was only a short presentation, but there was enough information there that I said, I think I need to see more of this.
I really wish we'd met David $30,000 ago and our lives would have totally changed, although they are changing now because of the knowledge we've gained from the home study course.
I actually owned stock since 1993 and just looked up the prices in the newspaper. And of course, there was no real system in place there.